Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Soccer Preseason webinar. My name is Natalia Stefan, and I'm the sport lead for soccer, and I'm a regional sports director for Special Olympics Maryland. And also helping me with the webinar tonight, we have John McDonough. He's a Howard County soccer coach.
I'm sorry. Is this not? I entered for the kayaking and I got here. Is it going on at the same time, or am I something wrong?
Alan, kayaking is on the 23rd.
Thank you very much. Apologize for the interruption. Goodbye.
You're welcome to join us, though.
Thank you. I'll pass. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay. So I'm just going to remind everyone to please press *6 to mute your phone, or if you have a mute function, a mute button on your phone, please press that now. We are recording this webinar, so if you do have a question, we will open it up later for questions and everything. Just hold tight, and you'll be able to you'll be able to ask those questions later on in the webinar. So we're going to get started. Okay, John, would you like to go over the agenda?
Sure. Are you moving mine?
Yep, I'll move it for you.
That'd be great.
Are you there, John?
Uh-huh. I'm not seeing any.
You're not seeing the screen?
Just a
John, you're showing up on the attendee list as being offline. I think you might have lost your connection.
Okay. Let me see if I can get back online.
Okay, or you can just flip through the slides on the chief email to you, and she can flip through them on the screen.
That would be good.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll just go over, while John's pulling up the PowerPoint slides on his computer, I'll just go over the agenda really quickly. We're going to go over the events offered for soccer, the rules, any rule reminders and rule changes, season deadlines, the entry process for states. We'll go over qualifiers, certifications such as concussion certifications and the head coach certifications, and then we'll open it up for questions.
So the events that are being offered are the 7x7 traditional and unified all adult teams, 22 plus age group. Also the 5x5 team soccer, both traditional and unified. And those would be all youth teams, 8 to 11, 12 to 15, and 16 to 21. As well as the 7x7 player development unified soccer team. Also soccer individual skills competition as usual. Rule reminders. The new rules were published in 2016. One thing, the athletes with Down syndrome must have been diagnosed to not have atlantoaxial instability. The roster sizes are 7v7, minimum of 10 players, maximum of 14. Unified must have 4 athletes and 3 partners on the field to play. The 5x5, minimum of 8 with a maximum of 10 on the roster. The unified must have 3 athletes and 2 partners on the field. Player development will be the minimum of 10, the maximum of 14, with the athletes, 5 athletes and 2 mentors on the field. Once the rosters are set for the first official games, no changes are permitted in the roster. Players may only play for one team during the season, and teams may not swap players or loan players to another team at any qualifier. If it happens at a qualifier will not count toward the minimum requirement for the team. If it happens at one of the required qualifiers, the team will be disqualified from the state championship. Team surveys will be required to be completed and submitted by September 12th. Initial assessment of team ability for divisioning at early qualifiers will be shared along with contact information with all coaches to facilitate scrimmages, home and away games, etc. Special Olympics will enter team rosters into GMS based on this submission. Rule reminders, age groups 5x5 soccer, elementary will be 8 to 11 years youth, middle school 12 to 15 years youth, high school 16 to 21 years. 7v7 and TDU soccer will be adult 22 plus years adult. Special Olympics age group policy is in force. Exceptions can be requested, no maximum per team. Requires proper request per age group policy, including AD approval. Extreme age differences with athletes under the age of 21 will not be approved. Players at least 18 years of age by the state soccer tournament are eligible to play up into an individual age group, provided a request for exemption has been submitted in writing, approved by the area director, and submitted along with a team roster. Exceptions for athletes who are 16 or 17 years of age may be made at the sole discretion of Special Olympics, but are extraordinary and are decided on a case-by-case basis, must be submitted via the exemption request form, signed by a parent or guardian and approved by area director. This policy is based on both a safety and age appropriateness perspective. Work with your regional sports director if you need assistance with challenging situations and decisions. Rule reminders, 7v7, traditional and unified. Field side is 50 meters by 70 meters, max 50 meters by 35 meters minimum. Goal area 8 meters by 20 meters. Goal 5 meters by 2 meters. And that may have some variations relative to specific goals used. 2 20-minute halves, 5-minute halftime. Ball over the sideline can either be a kick or a throw-in. Rule reminders for the 5v5. Fields 32 meters by 40 meters. Goal area 8 meters by 12 meters. Goal 4 meters by 2 meters. Time would be 2 15-minute halves and a 5-minute halftime. Ball over the sideline is a kick-in only. Rule reminder on the TDU, transitional level between skills and team play. 5 athletes and 2 mentors on the field. Goalie must be a Special Olympic athlete. Mentors are on-field coaches facilitating the athlete playing of the game. They are not players on the team, unlike traditional unified. A mentor can give verbal and visual instructions to a player, can give physical direction to a player, receive the ball if it comes to them naturally during the course of the game, keep the ball in play that otherwise would go out of bounds and no other players are in the way in the vicinity of the ball. They can also start the offense following the opposing team scoring a goal, as well as escort an athlete bringing the ball down the field, but the athlete is advancing the ball. The explicit cannots are cannot directly impact the course of the game, cannot give instruction that is designed to distract or confuse the opposing team, cannot score, cannot play defense neither actively or passively, cannot steal the ball, cannot block shots, cannot intercept a pass from the opposing team, cannot impede the advancement of the opposing team down the field actively or passively, cannot shoo away members of the opposing team when one of their team members has the ball, cannot excessively control the game, cannot excessively control the ball. Rule reminders regarding uniforms. Players must be properly attired to compete. Jerseys shall be marked with recommended 25-centimeter numbers on their back. Jerseys must be numbered in a permanent manner from 1 to 99. Duplicate numbers are not allowed. Pants, shorts, no jeans shall be of like color among all team members. In the case of inclement weather, varying colors may be allowed to the discretion of the event, competition director, and the director of officials. Undergarments that are visible, example, a sleeve t-shirt under a sleeveless jersey, shall be of like color among all team members. Hats or headgear may only be worn for medical or religious purposes. Shoes having soft and yielding cleats, no metal studs, are permitted outdoor only. The goalkeeper shall wear colors which distinguish him or her from the other players and the referee. Inappropriate attire could result in a team forfeiting. All jewelry must be removed before competition. Shin pad guards covered by socks are required for all players. Shall be of like colors among all team members. Specific Olympic general rules. Meaningful involvement is in an effort to optimize participation by all team members, athletes, and partners based on the principle that every player should contribute to the success of the team. The composition of any team must include players with necessary sports-specific skills. Teams should not include players who dominate the play, exclude other teammates from contributing to the success of the team, or present a health and safety risk on the field of play. By permitting any player to dominate play, other players' roles and opportunities are greatly limited. This violates both the spirit and intent of the Special Olympics United Sports rules and philosophy, and will be addressed according to the standards set forth by each sports rule and governing ordinance. Consequences for noncompliance are either specific player sanctions, one of which encourage volunteer substitution, technical foul, a warning, yellow card, or ejection. Team consequences are forfeiture of game, disqualification from tournament. If an official determines that a player is dominating play, that official shall sanction the player and/or coach. Sanctions will include warning the and/or coach, citing the player and/or coach with unsportsmanlike conduct, or removing the player and/or coach from the game. Designation of a unified sports expert, technical delegate, monitor, or competition manager who supports officials and addresses issues at events is ultimately empowered to enforce meaningful involvement. Natalie, I think you're going to go from there.
Yes. Before I continue with this portion, does anyone have any questions regarding what John just talked about? No? Okay, awesome. I'm just going to remind everyone that this webinar is being recorded, and if you could mute your phone, either by pressing the mute button on your phone or pressing *6, that would be great. Okay, so thanks, John.
Sure.
Next, we're going to go over the registration forms and procedures for this season. Just as a reminder, I know everyone knows this, but no athlete or volunteer may participate in any manner in the Special Olympics Maryland program without a valid and current medical form or volunteer application. There is no exception to this policy. If that means someone has to sit out from practice because they do not have the valid athlete medical form or volunteer application turned in, then that's just what's going to have to happen. Here we have the deadlines for Fall Sports Fest and for the soccer tournaments. The training registration deadline is September 1st, meaning everyone participating in your program needs to be entered into GMS. That means all athletes, unified partners, coaches, and volunteers within your program need to be entered into GMS. This establishes who will be eligible to compete at the soccer tournament. The next deadline is the last date for missing forms to be submitted to Special Olympics Maryland headquarters, and that is September 12th. We understand that there are sometimes extenuating circumstances for people which make it hard for them to get paperwork turned into us on time and may need a little flexibility. This date allows for that flexibility. This deadline is the last date to get all missing forms into us, whether it is athlete medical forms, volunteer applications, concussion certifications, and head coach certification. Please be mindful of this deadline because it is the very last date that we will accept late paperwork that was not turned in before the training registration deadline. Along with the last date for missing forms, September 12th is the date that all soccer team rosters are due. So please, please, please mark that on your calendar as well as for the last day for missing forms and the deadline for the team rosters for soccer. The next deadline we're going to talk about is the competition registration deadline, and that is October 6th. At this time, delegation members, team rosters, and all athlete and unified partner events must be entered into GMS. Very important, any athlete or unified partner without an event will be deleted from the soccer tournament. Again, all athletes and unified partners, coaches, and volunteers must have the proper forms completed and submitted prior to starting their involvement with Special Olympics. If you are unsure if your athletes, unified partners, coaches, or volunteers have their necessary paperwork turned in, please work with your area leadership and area GMS manager to find out who has what and what needs to be turned in. If you do not know who your GMS manager is in your area, please contact your area office and ask. Okay, so the next few slides are the athlete medical form and the volunteer application. I'm not going to spend any time talking about these forms. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what these forms look like. If not, I will be posting these slides on my SOMD, and you can take a closer look at those forms later on. So the next slide is the first report of accident form. All coaches should be familiar with this form. Should an accident occur immediately after the injured person has been treated, please fill out this form and submit it to the individuals listed at the bottom of the form as well as your area director. And this is what the form looks like. Okay, moving on to entry process. In order to be eligible for the state tournament, all athletes must compete in a minimum of 2 sanctioned qualifiers. For 77, 5v5, and PDU teams, 1 qualifier must be the designated required qualifier, and the other qualifier needs to be an additional qualifier that's a sanctioned multi-program qualifier. At no point, team rosters may not change between qualifiers. Individual skills competition, 1 qualifier must be the sanctioned multi-program qualifier, and the other qualifier may be a sanctioned in-house qualifier, provided a properly lined field and proper equipment is used, officials are in place, and the competition is conducted per the Special Olympics rules, and results are recorded and submitted to Special Olympics Maryland headquarters following the competition. At each qualifier, the athlete must compete in those events, in which he or she will compete at the Special Olympics Maryland soccer tournament. Taking a step back and going back to the required qualifiers, we do have dates for those. For all 77 teams, the required qualifier is in Anne Arundel County, and that date is October 9th. For all PDU teams and 5v5 teams, it's the St. Mary's qualifier, and that's October 2nd. That date was just confirmed today. However, I know that in the past several years, we've had the elementary and middle school age groups in the 5v5 teams have their required qualifier at Baltimore City Myers Pavilion qualifier, and the high school age and PDU teams had their required qualifier in St. Mary's. I'm going to I just want to ask this question right now. You can unmute your phones and answer me. But do any other areas other than Baltimore City and Baltimore County have elementary and middle school age teams this year? No? Okay.
Well, Baltimore County, we have middle school age. I'm not sure yet what we will be classified as. I believe last year we were high school.
Kim.
Okay.
Hi, no, Kim. This is Mike. No, you were definitely in the elementary, middle school range last year.
Okay.
So that's definitely for you guys.
This is Pam from Lower Shore. I will have to contact them. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rick direction. Maybe Jen Hill and find out for sure.
Okay. Not a problem.
I don't think we are, but I want to just check with them for sure.
Okay, yep, just let me know. Again, if you guys don't know right now, that's fine. That's completely fine. Just email me and let me know, because it is possible that we may do what we've done in the past several years, which is have all PDU teams and high school age 5v5 go to St. Mary's as their required qualifier, and the elementary and middle school age teams have their required qualifier in Baltimore City at Myers Pavilion. But that is all dependent upon how many teams. If we have a lot of elementary and middle school teams, we may not be able to do what we've done the past several years. So just let me know, email me, and I will let you guys know what I find out. Again, additional competition experience above and beyond the minimum 2 are strongly encouraged.
This is Pam with Lower Shore.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't talk about unified. I was trying to see if anybody had a unified soccer team this year.
Well, what I can do, Pam, I have been trying to collect some information from areas regarding what teams are going to have, whether unified, traditional, 5v5, 77. Once I hear from all the areas, I'm going to be shooting that information out to everyone so they know and can plan their season.
All right, thank you.
Yep, not a problem.
Do you know when you'll be sending that out?
Not yet. I'm still waiting on hearing back from some of the areas. Okay, guys. Again, once you're, please press star 6 to mute your phone and or press the mute function. I'm going to continue on with my slides. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so qualifiers. In order to count as a qualifier, the event must emulate state-level competition from a sports competition perspective. It must follow the rules for Special Olympics and the NGB for that sport, have medical personnel on site, and ideally include 3 or more areas. Again, unless it is an in-house qualifier. Qualifiers must have completed sanction forms that have been submitted to Special Olympics Maryland headquarters 30 days prior to the competition date. Okay, so here's a list of all the qualifiers we have thus far for the fall season. All the qualifiers in red are for soccer. However, this has just recently, news everywhere. We have canceled one of the dates for Howard County Soccer League. So on the following area memos and calendars, this date will no longer be available. We are canceling the October 8th Howard County Soccer League date. We will not have matches October 8th for Howard County Soccer League. Okay, everyone? We had to unfortunately cancel that. But if another area is looking to have matches, another day or something because they lost that day, feel free to let me know. But I just want to make everyone aware that we will no longer have matches on October 8th. We do have quite a few other qualifiers going on, so I highly recommend trying to make it out to several of these. Again, the St. Mary's required qualifier, that date was confirmed today, and it is October 2nd. Okay, so coach concussion certification. Everyone should know this by now. All coaches must complete a concussion training before they begin coaching. This is absolutely mandatory for all coaches. The certification is good for 3 years. In order to meet this requirement, you must complete a course, and as you can see, I have a couple approved courses listed here on the slide. Once you've completed that course, the course usually sends you an email saying that you've completed the course and passed the test, or they'll send you a certification or a certificate saying that you completed the course. Please send that certificate as a PDF version to the email address listed here on the slide, coaches@somd.org. Very important that you do that so we have it on record for you. Both of the courses listed here are offered online and they are free. So next we have coach certification. All head coaches must have a coach certification in the sport you are coaching. In order to get certification, you must complete a general coaching course, so coaching Special Olympics athletes, as well as a sport-specific course too. While the certification only applies to head coaches at the moment, we will begin implementing the coach certification for all coaches, head and assistant, in 2017, beginning with the Winter Games sport. The requirements are listed here on the slide. The requirements are going through the general orientation session, volunteer screening, protective behaviors, concussion certification, and the coach education for new athletes, which would be the coaching Special Olympics athletes course and the sport-specific training. So scheduling a coach's training session. If you are looking to schedule a coach's training session in your area, please contact your regional sports director. They can give you more information and answer any questions you have in regards to how to set it up. There is some elements or requirements listed here on this slide. For soccer, we do have a live coaches training scheduled, and that is Sunday, August 28th at Cedar Lane Park East from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. I have been sending out emails. Please let me know if you've not received an email. To register for the training, please go to the SurveyMonkey link that's listed here. That's also been in the emails I've been sending out. Again, if you have not received it, not a big deal. Please let me know as soon as possible, and I will send you the link so you can get registered. The address for the training is listed right here as well. And again, these slides will be on my SOMD. I will post them later this week, so you will have this information. Okay, here is a menu, if you will, of the online courses that ASEP offers for the sport-specific courses for the coach certification. They also offer the general coaching course of coaching Special Olympics athletes. So I do know that they have a couple soccer courses on here, so feel free, please look at it. They have some great courses on there, very informational, and they're not, they really don't take that long to complete. So what is an approved course? If you found a course and you are wondering if it would be a good course to use for the sport-specific requirement for your coach certification, please contact your regional sports directors and they can let you know if it is approved or not. Please do not get discouraged by this, because there are some classes out there that we may be unaware of. And if you find some, it could be great information for us as well as your fellow coaches to know about. So with that, I'm going to open up the floor for questions. If anyone has any questions, please unmute your phones and go ahead and ask them.
Yeah, Ron Corsini from St. Mary's. When is the state tournament? Or state?
The state tournament is October 30th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Mike in Montgomery County. We have 2 high school traditional teams, so I don't know if hopefully someone else has high school teams, but we're going to go to the September 10th Howard County qualifier. If any other high school teams could go to that, that would be great.
Awesome. All right. Hopefully we get some more teams out there.
Yeah, hi, this is Craig in Frederick County. I have a question on unified involvement.
Okay.
So last year was our first venture into Unified 77, and it seemed like there was inconsistency on how unified players can score. Meaning, we played 3 games in state tournament last year. In the first game, as the coach, and it was, well, our unified players can't score. We don't allow them to score. It's okay. I won't allow mine to score. The next game I played, it was, well, if they score in the course of play, then that's okay. Or if it's a pass and accidentally goes in, then that's okay. But they shouldn't dominate or control the game. I said, okay, we'll play that way too. And then the third game, as a coach, and it was like the unified players just treat them like anybody else, and they can score at will, and they can just be another player on the field. And so I'm not sure how to coach my unified players when there's a little bit of inconsistency on how that meaningful involvement is interpreted. Can you give me any direction or guidance to me?
Absolutely. So I believe there was actually a discussion, from what I heard, there was a discussion last year about what unified partners can do on the field. And Mike, please correct me if I'm wrong, but unified partners are allowed to score?
Yeah, unified partners are full members of the team. There are no restrictions. Now, when we're talking unified, not player development unified, they're 2 very different things. But for the regular unified, you should coach your unified players to be full members of the team, not taking over the game, as was noted under the meaningful involvement, and taking it away from the rest of the team, but they absolutely can score. That's part of the whole foundation of unified.
Okay, that sounds good. So thank you.
Sure.
Hi, this is Emily Golden from Montgomery County. I have a new athlete this year who has to wear sunglasses because she has sensitive sight. I just wanted to know if there's any restrictions on wearing sunglasses in a game.
So sunglasses and other kind of eyewear, that is all up to the refs and officials. I do know that they are permitted, and I believe they need to have a strap to secure the eyewear to their faces, but it is more of the official's preference, I believe. So you would have to ask the officials or refs exactly what they would consider to be appropriate.
Yeah, if it's, Emily, this is Mike again, if it's a medical situation due to that kind of hypersensitivity or whatever, then they definitely would be approved. Would also recommend, just for the safety of the athlete, the player, to have the wraparound style with the soft lenses, so that if they do get hit, it's not going to damage their nose.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I will encourage the athlete to get those. I just wasn't sure what all the sticky details were with that.
Yeah, if it's a medical requirement or a medical necessity, we're not going to prevent that from happening.
Okay, thanks.
And just make sure that it is a secure strap so the glasses aren't falling off their face.
Okay, will do. I have one other question too, with regard to slide tackling. This is my pet peeve every year with the Special Olympics rules, is that there's no ban on slide tackling. So I just wanted to know if there's going to be any discussion about that this year, and if there will potentially be a ban on slide tackling, because I just don't see the purpose in a Special Olympics event. I mean, it's a very dangerous move, and I just wanted to know if there had been any progress made on that.
Not to my knowledge. Mike, would you like to?
Yeah, Emily, we'll talk with our key referees and get back to you prior to the first qualifier. Get back, not just.
Thank you. I'm sorry to bring it up every year, but it just makes me so nervous that somebody's going to break an ankle one of these games, and I would just like to see it sort of be universally accepted that it's not allowed in games.
Okay. Again, we'll talk to our refereeing corps or crew, and we'll get back to all the coaches by email prior to the first qualifier.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
This is Pam Gross from Lower Shore. Hello.
Hi, Pam. How can I help you?
Hi, how are you? Not too long ago, someone said something about, I was not sure if they said unified high school or just unified teams that were going to go to a second qualifier, and they were wondering if any of the other teams would, I guess, kind of go to that one too.
You're wondering if any other high school teams will be attending the second qualifier?
No, not high school, adult unified, like Howard County, or not attending one of Howard County's. Somebody already mentioned that, and I wondered who that was.
That I do not know. You can reach out to that area director to find out more information, but I do not know.
I don't know who it was. They just said it on a webinar here. And they talked about
I was talking about high school traditional.
High-level traditional?
Yeah, high school traditional. We have 2 teams. And we're just making sure. You don't want to go to Howard County and be the only 2 teams and play each other. We can do that at home.
Okay, well, what's the date of that one that you want to go to?
We're 6 to 21 traditional. We're going to go to the September 10th one.
Mm-hmm. September 10th. Okay. I'll have to ask my,
Awesome.
We're not sure whether we're going to go with the unified or just the traditional. In the past few years, we've been just traditional with our high level.
All right, yeah, both our teams are traditional. If you can, I'm Montgomery County. If you can reach out to me, or maybe Mike can get my email to you, or somehow, so we can talk offline to make sure we connect.
Okay. Well, and Natalia, you're going to send out a listing of all the teams and levels and such when we have that information, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so Mike Clam and Pam Gross, you'll get that there, but we can certainly connect you earlier than that.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure.
Any other questions?
One thing on the Howard County, as soon as everybody can send me email specifically the date that they're interested in coming, that would be helpful in trying to set that up. So anybody, because first 2 September seems like each year everybody's trying to get organized, and tends to be not filled, and then all of a sudden later in the year we're overwhelmed. So as many teams as come in September would be great.
Can you send your email out to everyone too, just to make sure everyone has it, John?
Natalie, can you send that out for them?
Yep, I can do that, John.
That'd be great.
Yeah, this is Pam. I'm back on my phone. I hit the wrong number or something.
Oh, okay. Welcome back, Pam. So anybody else, any other questions? Again, I will be sending out information regarding teams, how many, the types and everything. Once I get the information from the areas, I'll be sending that information out to you. I will send out more information about the qualifiers, as well as who to connect with to attend those qualifiers. And I will be posting all of these slides, as well as the recording of this webinar on my SOMD. So if no one else has any other questions, I'm going to wrap up. Again, if you have questions after the webinar, you think of something later tonight or tomorrow, you can reach out to me or to your regional sports directors, as they're listed here on the slide. Please feel free to contact us and ask questions. Yep, we will be in touch, and I will get this information out this week regarding the slides.
Thank you.
Again, once I hear back from the other areas on their teams, I will let you know. I can't guarantee if that's this week, though. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight, and thank you, John, for your help with the webinar.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Have a nice night.